Good morning, friends. This is Tracy Brown. I thought I would hop on real quick. Not a long video, so don't worry. You don't need a lot of time to watch this, but I want to hear from you all. And this is really important to me to encourage you about whether it's in your full-time job you have, your private practice, you work for a inpatient, IOP, whatever you're doing. I want to hear from you. What is it that you feel like that you don't have a good enough training for or experience about? You haven't been doing this long enough. Whatever it is that you're hearing in your head, those the inner critic. Because this week has been about kind of working through some of the mindset around feeling like an imposter. I want to hear from you. What areas are you feeling like, I'm not ready, I shouldn't say this yet, I know something's up, but I'm not quite sure what it is, I don't know how to say it. I want to hear from you. So let's see here. Like I said, I'm not going to be on too long, but if anybody has anything you want to mention, please do it. Or I know if you're not watching this live, there's a lot of people in this group that aren't watching live this second, obviously. And if you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear about it. And please tag me, and I will come back around today, tomorrow, next week. And I just want to encourage you. I started doing private practice when I was pretty young, in my late 20s. And I came up against a lot. Not people were I kind of, I guess, grew up in the field and around a lot of people who had been really experienced. They had really high expectations of how clients were treated. And I grew really, really fast, but it was a steep learning curve. And I kind of had to work pretty hard to, unfortunately, to kind of prove myself that I was worthy of handling their clients. And so it's one of those things. It was a both and. Like I had to, do a lot of reading and training and supervision to be able to speak in a way that it seemed that I knew what I was doing, even though all along I did. It was just that external pressure made me feel like maybe I didn't. And so maybe that's your edge of like, oh, I'm around people who have a lot of experience, or maybe even, watch me do all these videos and put stuff out there, and you're thinking, oh, I'm not as good as Tracy, so maybe I'm not ready, and total hogwash. It's like you definitely have something to offer. If you're an experienced person watching this, but you maybe you're feeling stuck in some area, or maybe things are going really great, you're just here to encourage others, please do more of that, because I'm not the only one that knows stuff, and everybody that has some experience has different experiences probably than likely I do. We have some similar ones, we have some different ones, and I want us to throw all that wisdom into this pot here on this group. So please feel free to speak up. Speaking of that, I do want to, I recognize that I haven't let any of you all know here what I've been up to on the client side of things, and not in the professional part of my offerings, but I've had a kind of a self-study / I do a lot of supporting in a group kind of setting for a couple years now, but I don't market it that much. But I'm kind of pushing a little bit more on letting people know what I've got going on, because it makes me really sad to see these staggering statistics about how few people get care or get support for not even just eating disorders, but people who are chronic dieters. And I've been pushing really hard to get this program out there. It's called the Peaceful Eating Community. And within it, I have something called the Attuned Eating for Attuned Living Academy. And all it is like, right now I have about 12 months of material for people to work through. Each month has attuned eating skill work. So whether it's around the food aspect of things, the movement aspect of things, the trauma integrated part of the work I do, which is somatic, neurosensory exercises and those kind of things. And then I have a good bit of, each month has some, at least one, if not more, interviews with other people who, again, have other experiences than me, other lived experiences than me, out in the field, out in the work. And so each month has something like that for people. along with the group support. I'm taking that group support off of Facebook, so it's more private. People have to put, it's in a forum style. So lots of different topics that if you're a larger body, you might want to talk about. If you're a smaller body, you might want to talk about. Not separating people out, but just you get to pick and choose kind of like what little conference rooms you go in. So it's kind of cool. And it's a password protected thing, so people don't have to worry about somebody from Reddit coming on and screenshotting their dilemma and then posting on the internet and make fun. That was really important to me. And then lastly, I'm going to be doing multiple times a week Q&As for people. So it sounds like a lot of work on my part, but it's not. It's just the accumulation of 14 years of materials and videos and all kinds of stuff that I just need to be sharing with people that don't have access, that can't see me one-on-one, or maybe can't see you one-on-one. So it's $25 a month, and I made this as an adjunct for people in individual counseling who just need more support, but maybe they aren't seeing you more than once a week. Maybe they can only see you once a month and they just need some extra support. I made it for my clients for the same thing. I have people that they need to be coming every week or even twice a week, but they can barely come once a month. So they might see me once a month, and they have these added things to be working through. They have other groups, other people going through the same stuff for support. And obviously for people that that just can't, they can't access anything. They don't have insurance, or the insurance doesn't cover any nutrition counseling, even if they have insurance, or even if you could take insurance, but they can't, it still doesn't cover their sessions, So this is what I made this for. And I made it because a long time ago, maybe you know my story, that I grew up in a town of like 900 people, and there wasn't good care, So it took me a long time to get through a lot of these obstacles that now could really only take like 6 months, a year, whatever. And so that's why I set up this group support as well. So if you have people that, this isn't trying to take away from me, trying to take away from your client work. It's really just about, here's an extra space of support for people who really need it. That in your ideal fantasy world, that they could see you almost every day, or at least a couple times a week, but they just can't because of finances. This is really what this is set up for. So anyway, I want to offer that. I'm going to put the link below so you all can send people there if you'd like, if you feel like that would be a good fit for your clients. If you have questions for me, please let me know. Ask me in this in this little thread here if you want to. Again, no pressure. You don't have to share it. It's fine, no problem. But just want to let you all know that it's available for people that need more, but they can't access it. And I want to I'm sharing this not just so your clients have another access to some care and some resource, but this was something that I started a couple of years ago that I don't think anybody cared about it. When we talk about pushing our edges here and working with that inner critic and working with I'm an imposter, is that maybe I'm not really a big name in the English disorder field, to be honest. I mean, some people know about me, whatever. And I've stopped worrying about okay, everybody has to know about me and I have to do something amazingly different. I know that I do. I know that the work that I do is unique. But I don't try to be unique for the sake of that. It's just you have to have a big podcast. You don't have to have a big anything to help a lot of people. And that's why I want to encourage you all to be thinking about today as we kind of wrap up this week around not expectancy, but doing things anyway. So I started this program that I'm kind of revamping to make it even more accessible. It used to be about $50 a month. I've dropped it to $25, just so more people could get in it. But that voice of, who am I? I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a therapist. I'm only a coach. This is for you to no, put your stuff out there. Put your stuff out there. Or if you're a dietitian, and I have gotten those emails. Actually from therapists, who are you to be talking about embodiment? And, that, 10 years ago, that would have been let me go hide and maybe I shouldn't be talking about this. And I would encourage you all that there's something you're really feeling passionate about and you know how to use it, whatever, or ACT or whatever, in your in your scope of practice, you need to be doing that because you obviously believe that this is something that people need to be using along with their food and their body image and their movement journey to healing. So this is where those, you know, who am I to be talking about this or charging money for this or whatever. Well, if you don't do it in the way that you do it, somebody's missing out. And that's just the way I look at it. So thank you all for watching live. I so appreciate y'all. Those who are hopping on later, please go back to the beginning as we talk about kind of finishing up. Like, where are you feeling like that you can't go that next step? Whether that's talking to people in your community, putting out there more about what you're doing, what you really care about. I just want to hear from you. I want to support this. This space really needs to be about, you know, our counseling skills, but those skills, how do we kind of mirror those back at ourselves, and how do we support each other doing that? Because there's a lot of times that we have blind spots in the work as where we can take clients going, because we haven't quite gotten through all of it ourselves. And that doesn't mean that if you have a stuck place of like self-worth or your own relationship with food or something else, doesn't mean that you're not doing good work or you can't. It just means that, like, I want to see you go to the next level. And that's what this group is for. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll put some links below so you can see what I'm talking about. And I will talk to you in the next video. Take care.